Nice easy run today. Nothing too strenuous. After all, can't be overdoing it at my age. Running shoe technology has come on so well in the years that I've been running. Thank goodness though, we've got YouTubers to help us keep up. And there's some great YouTubers out there. They bring us shoe reviews, kit reviews, race day videos, training tips. I watch them all. Well, most of them. But you know what? They've all got one thing in common. They're all younger than me. So I've been thinking for some time, who's looking after us oldies out there? After all, there's enough of us. Just take a look around you at your next park run. In fact, I've been banging on about it so much, my wife said, Lowe, stop moaning and do something about it then. So I thought, right, I will. I'll start up my own YouTube channel, dedicated loosely to the older runner. But how do you do that? Oh, I mean, there's the lighting, the filming, the cameras. Oh, what the hell's a GoPro? And they all do it so well. They film different scenes, different locations, different shoes, and in the end, they join them all together seamlessly to make one brilliant video. How do they do that? I'm going to need some help. But where? Who's going to help me? Well, I know one thing. I might be getting on a bit, but I love running. I've got no intentions of stopping anytime soon. So I thought, Lowe, you just need to channel some of that energy into finding somebody to help you. I wonder. Well everyone, that energy has brought me here. This is Winchester University, and in here is the man who's going to answer all of my how do I do that questions. Let's go in a meeting.
Hi Ian.
Hey James.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you. Really, it's great to meet you. Yeah, it is.
So what's brought you here today?
Well, I had this idea of setting up a YouTube channel, sort of loosely based to help the older runner, but I really didn't know where to start. So, next thing, I'm in the university, I meet up with your tutor, and he said, Ian, do me a proposal, and I put it to the students, and we'll see if anybody's interested in it. And lo and behold, here you are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my question to you is, having seen the proposal, what made you take up this challenge?
So I do film production as the course.
Right, okay.
Just finished that, and it was all film and documentary, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
And I loved it, but it's all the experience outside of it, playing with the kit, how using it in different ways and experimenting. That
Sure.
I think was another challenge, and I enjoyed that, so I kind of missed it. So why not get involved in...
Well, James, I'm so glad you did, because we're polar opposites. Not only are you much, much younger than me, but I know nothing about this. I've never shot a YouTube video before in my life, but I know it's something I wanted to do. So I thought, right, Ian, you need to get started somewhere. If you can get some help in the early stages of your channel, then once I've been with you and we've shot a few videos together, hopefully I've learned enough from you that I can then take it over on my own.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds great. So let's go back to the beginning here.
Yeah.
What made you start running in the first place?
I was a bit of a part-time runner. I didn't really take it that seriously. And then back in about 2009, I had a friend who wasn't very well. And you feel helpless in these situations. So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll run a marathon and I'll raise a bit of money for a cancer charity. So I signed up for the Belfast Marathon in May 2010. Nervous, but full of anticipation. And lo and behold, this is what I ended up with.
Oh, wow.
So this was my first race. I went straight in at the deep end. I went straight to the Belfast Marathon. And, call it beginner's luck, there was my time. I finished in 3 hours 55, 54.
Wow.
Not bad, yeah. And I came away from there thinking, right, okay, I'm a runner now. And I never really looked back after that. Was I then? I think I was about 48 then. And, you know, I come into running sort of middle age, really, which a lot of people do. But I'd caught the bug by then, and it whetted my appetite to do more.
So you did Belfast. What came after that?
Yeah, well, I had 3 years then away from marathon running, during which time I concentrated on 10Ks and half marathons, and I got some PBs, and my times were quite quick. I got slightly injured in 2012. I pulled the medial ligament on the inside of my right knee, and that kept me out of the 2012 London Marathon, but I deferred my place to 2013, so London was next. And here's my medal.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that marathon go?
Yeah, not so well. Not so well. In fact, that was the moment, really, the 2013 London Marathon, that kind of shaped my running future after that. I was running for a cancer charity again, and I had what was called a golden bond place. You have to sign up to a charity to raise a certain amount of money. So it puts a bit of pressure on you in the build up to the marathon. And we had to do all sorts of things. In the end, I did it quite well. I raised over £3,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was absolutely delighted. But come race day, I had this fixation in mind. I thought, right, I've done all this hard work for the charity. This is my day. This is my time now, right? So having run 3:55 in Belfast, 3 years later, I thought I'm going to run to 3:45. And I had no real evidence to say that you could do that, Ian. I did the 20-mile run 2 weeks before the marathon. I did the taper exactly as by the book. And then I went to the marathon with this 3:45 figure in mind. I got close to the 3:45 pacer at the start line, and off I went. I was quite shocked at how busy it was. And also, I was also a bit shocked, thought, this is a bit quicker than I thought it was going to be, 3:45 pace. So I thought, it's okay, it's all right, I can keep up. At 3 miles, you get another section, the blue section joins you at 3 miles, and then it got even busier still. And at that point, I missed the first water station. Oh. And it was chaotic, absolutely chaotic. And I went to grab a bottle of water and I missed it. And rather than stop and go back and collect it and make sure I got water, I thought, oh, it's okay, I'll go on to the next one. So that was my first mistake. So my problems started there. And my dehydration problems just got worse and worse and worse. I was never able to recover. But I was okay, on I went. When I got to Tower Bridge, the pacer, the 3:45 pacer, was 100 metres ahead of me. I could just see her in the distance, but she was getting further and further away with each mile, and I was struggling to keep up. I also started to notice some tingling in my fingertips, and it's not something I'd experienced before, and I wasn't really sure what it was. I kept going. By mile 14, mile 15, the pacer is out of sight. Right. So I'm not going to make 3:45. It's not going to happen. And then at mile 16, I felt like somebody had just literally shot me in the back of the leg. Oh. That was the onset of cramp. And first of all, it was a shock, massive shock. I thought, oh, what the hell's that? Yeah. I kept going. Wasn't long, another 200-300 metres past it, it was back.
It was bang, yeah.
And then it came in the other leg, and then it came in my calf, then in my thigh. By the time I got to mile 17, I couldn't walk. I couldn't run, I was forced to stop, and I was in total shock. I didn't know really what to do. I started walking, and the crowds were so encouraging. I had my name on my charity vest, and they were shouting, come on in, come on in. So I started to run again, but I could literally only get 100 yards or so before I was forced to stop again. I staggered on like that for quite a while. I went through the tall buildings at Canary Wharf, and felt very, very lonely at that point. I was just about managing to walk. Eventually, I made my way up to the embankment, and I've lost track now of time and where I was in the race, or even what mile I was. And then I felt a hand come into mine. Somebody grabbed my hand. I looked round, and there was a runner, a lady, another runner, just like me. I remember she had a charity vest on, and she said, come on, Ian, come with me. I'll get you through to the finish. And then she let me go. She said, Ian, I can let you go now. And I remember saying to her, I'll never forget you, thank you. And off she went into the distance. I turned the corner, I staggered across the line, and I'd finished. a full hour and a quarter after my time, so it was just under 5 hours. Now, I was devastated, absolutely devastated. I fell to the floor, I spent the next 2 hours in the company St John's ambulance. I had to go on a drip. I was chronically dehydrated. And the physical problems I had with my muscles stayed with me for months, but mentally, it stayed with me for a long time.
What about the lady?
Never saw her again. I would really like to get back in touch with this lady again to thank her for what she did for me. But, you know, I had pictures of me looking terrible up to the point where I gave up. And I had pictures of me afterwards coming into that, but nothing at all.
Not with her?
No, no. So she was just my guardian angel, but she had a massive effect on my running career after that. For a while, I contemplated giving up running altogether. I thought that it took me a long time physically to get over it, but the mental scars of that day took even longer. And then I got better physically. I didn't run for at least 3 months.
Wow.
At least 3 months. And then one day I got up and I thought, do you know what, I'm just going to go for a jog. Well, I really didn't go any distances and I didn't have any great goals in mind other than just to keep running again and just to keep my fitness up and for my mental well-being. And then one day I went into the local bookshop and there was a copy of Runner's World magazine on the shelf.
Right.
So I opened up and there was an article from the Hanson brothers in America. And I read it, and the more I read it, the more it resonated with me. It wouldn't be for everybody. Basically, the theory, and I adapted it for myself and for my age at that time, it basically said, get your aerobic base to a point where you can run 10 miles at any time. You know, there's two schools of thought. Some people argue against it, some don't. And the vast majority of people do that, and that's absolutely fine. I honestly put down my problems at London to the fact that I'd overtrained, and my 20-mile run I did the 2 weeks before the marathon, my body had said, that's enough, Ian. All my momentum was gone.
Yeah.
So I remember on the start line feeling not nervous, which you should be, and it's good for you, at the start line of a race. I felt worried. I was worried, and that's a big difference.
Yeah.
There was a big difference. So I thought this makes a lot of sense. Build your aerobic base up. So your runs during the week, which were going to be 5 and 6 miles, are not too far away from the 10-mile run you're going to be doing. It's not like running 5 miles during the week and suddenly you're asking your body to do 20 miles on a Saturday.
That's a big
3 to 4 times what you're doing. I thought, that sounds okay.
Yeah.
So I slowly built up. So I started to run 2 miles, 3 miles runs during the week, and then I went to a 5-mile run on a Saturday. And I slowly built up to doing 5 miles, 6 miles, 10 miles.
Nice.
And I did that every week without fail for 6 months. Okay? So now I'm in a state where I am. And it coined a phrase for me, which I've taken on ever since then, which is one of my phrases, rest and routine. Rest and routine. So I had this routine, and then I thought, I can take this to a marathon. So I thought, right, what's coming up? So 2015.
Berlin, yeah. Oh.
With the Hanson program in mind, I kept going with, it was a bit of a gamble, but I thought it's one worth taking. I wasn't tempted at all to do any more running until I got up to 3 weeks before the marathon. And then instead of doing a 10-mile run on the Saturday, I went to 12.
Right, yeah, it's a little increase, but...
Too much. 2 weeks before the marathon, I went to 14.
Right.
And then the week before the marathon, I went to 16.
Nice.
Right? So with the 10 miles that I'd run during the week, okay, and the 16 miles that I did on the Saturday, that's 26 miles. It's almost a marathon, all by the 0.2.
Yeah.
I did my normal midweek runs leading up to marathon. So I didn't do any taper. I went straight to the marathon. So the marathon was on the following Sunday after I did my 16-mile run the week before. Flew to Berlin, went to the marathon on the Sunday morning.
How'd it go?
When I was on the start line, the difference between how I felt from Berlin to London was remarkable. I'm 3 years older, so I'm into my 50s now, and I felt strong, really strong. I felt ready for it. I felt up for it. I felt so looking forward to it. I had my wife there to cheer me on. I wasn't worried. I was excited. I had the right amount of pre-match nerves, but they weren't weighing me down. I just felt full of energy.
Yeah,
I thought, right, Ian,
conquer.
let's go. And I had a plan. And Berlin's a fantastic city. It was a brilliant marathon. The atmosphere was terrific. The weather was perfect. It was about 20 degrees, and I ran the perfect race. It's the best run of all my running that I've done in the 15 years that I've been doing this seriously. It's the best run I've ever had in my life. It was absolutely fancy. I remember running my hand across the wall of the gate, the Brandenburg Gate, so I went past it, and I could see the finish line in the distance, and I came through and I finished, and I felt absolutely fantastic. And it was a joyous moment.
What a way to sightsee.
It couldn't have been better. It was a fantastic trip. And I didn't know my time at all until later on that day. I got a text message from the organisers with it. Yeah, and I finished in 3:59, so just under 4 hours. 4 hours, so a full hour. So after the marathon was over, I recovered really quickly that evening. We went out to dinner, and it was just like I'd gone for my normal run. I didn't have any fatigue in my legs. I felt absolutely fine.
You'd run way further, but
yeah, I felt absolutely fine. Got back on the plane the following day, felt all right, came back, went straight back the following day, straight back to my routine. And I made the decision after London to say, look, Ian, what's important to you? And it became clear to me that running was a big part of my life, and without it, mentally, I could suffer, and I wasn't going to allow that to happen to me again. So I thought, you have to find a way of adapting this for your future. And
you've been running for?
Yeah, so seriously now for 15 years.
Wow.
15 years. And now I'm at a point where I've started this YouTube channel, and if this story that I've come out with now and this plan that I've had has resonated with anybody, and it won't suit everybody. This isn't for everybody. Some people will argue, no, Ian, I need to do the 20-mile run, I need to do, and of course you have to do that. I'm not saying that anybody should follow my lead, but there might be one person out that said, hang on, I've had a similar experience to you.
Yeah.
And if they can reach out to me and say, Ian, can we get in touch? Help me out. It would be a lifelong ambition of me to do that. So that's
just inspire one person. I think that's all you need. Is
if I could do that,
it's all worth it, isn't it?
All of this would be worth it. One of the things that I've noticed on YouTube, I just thought there's so much of this going on. There's so much out there, you know, and I wanted to bring something back to basics, you know, just to emphasise the pure joy and the beautiful thing that is going out for a run with no agenda.
Yeah.
No agenda, just to go out, pick your route. It can be a route that you've done 1,000 times around your hometown. Doesn't matter what you do. Just to go out and be with your own thoughts, be outside, be with nature, get some exercise, and that's it. And just to go out and do any run in any pair of shoes, in any pair of gear, it doesn't matter, just as long as you're doing it.
Yeah. So you have a strategy, it works. Where did you go from there?
Next one up.
Statue of Liberty, New York, so 2017 as well.
2017, went to New York. And anybody that's run the New York Marathon will know how tough it is, but what an honour to go there.
It was quite flat, though.
No, I wish. I wish.
Oh.
It's really tough. Everything about that city, I just love it. It's a fantastic place to go. And to be able to run the marathon there, it's just pure theatre. So I'm in my when was that, 2017, so I'm 57. I did loads of half marathons during that point, loads of 10Ks, same thing. Then New York comes along. The week before, I do my 16-mile run, and then...
You're ready? Wow, how'd it go?
Tough, really tough. And I knew, I'd set myself a target. I thought, if you come in, Ian, about 4 hours 20, now, I'd looked at some of the elite racers, and they always add 6 or 7 minutes to their time for New York from what they could do at Berlin. It's going to be a lot further for an amateur like me. You know, so I thought, right, be realistic. If you come in around 4 hours 20, 4.5 hours, you'd have done really well, you know. Yeah. So I set off in the same pace, exactly the same. This will resonate with anybody that's done it. The Queensborough Bridge is an absolute killer. It's an absolute killer. And it's noisy. You know, you're in the underpass section of it, and it just seems to go up and up and up and up forever. And then you come out, and then this wall of noise, they call it, hits you. So you then hit the crowds then. There's no crowds to call on the bridge. It's quiet. It's just us runners.
Small, yeah.
It's just us runners. You come down, you hit this
Nice and
wall of
quiet, and
noise.
then,
Yeah,
yeah.
suddenly it hits you when you come back out onto the road again and you're back into Manhattan. And then you turn left and right and you end up on First Avenue. And then from then on, I looked up ahead of me and First Avenue just goes on forever. And all I could see ahead of me was this huge, great hill with thousands and thousands of runners ahead of me. And it just seemed to go on and on and up into the sky. I thought, okay, so up I went, plodded on all the way. I remember got to the top, turned the corner, and you're in the Bronx now, and had to stop. Right. Thought, I can't run and I could see a water station ahead of me. Didn't think for any moment, oh no, I'm not gonna, it's just sort of need a break. So I'd stopped, had to sit down, ate my banana, had a drink, got up, stretched, went through my stretching routine again, felt okay, and off I went again. And then suddenly I'm in Fifth Avenue.
Wow.
So you're on the other side of Central Park, and then I'm in the park. So you're going up and down like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You come out at the bottom left-hand corner on Park Avenue, but just for added fun, there's a little incline at the end to take you up to the finish. So you're not quite done yet. So I went through the finish line, and I thought, wow, I've done it, I've finished. And once again, I didn't know my time till later. Found out later, I come in at 4 hours, 11 minutes.
Wow, beat the target massively.
Yeah, 4 hours, 11. And what a thrill.
Yeah.
What a thrill to be there. Once again, went out in the evening. I had the privilege of having my son, Chris, with me. He was running with me on that day. He'd already been in half an hour or whatever before. And we went out that evening, all of us went to dinner, felt fine, went out with our medals on. People around New York were stopping us and congratulating us. Oh, it's amazing.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. A really great experience.
So Ian, there's one medal left.
Of course.
New York?
Of course, we had we had the horrible pandemic, didn't we? Which stopped us moving around, stopped races, and all over the world really. So the next chance I had to do one was 2022, and
there's that Bank of Chicago, America again.
Yeah, I went to Chicago. As soon as we were allowed out. And we were allowed to do our exercise, off I went and just did the same thing. So I stuck to the same thing. I remember a few races came up before then, which we were allowed to do. So I joined in, did a few half marathons, but I basically did exactly the same strategy.
Nice.
Did exactly the same preparations. Went to Chicago with my son, Chris, again. And beautiful city, fantastic people. Went to the race on the Sunday. Once again, did exactly the same. Did the same strategy all the way round. And came in at that one, and I think I've got a time at the back end, 4 hours, 8 minutes.
Quicker again.
Yeah, 4 hours, 8 minutes. Dead flat course in Chicago. So I looked back through my stats that they sent me, the Chicago Marathon organisers afterwards, and my age bracket, 61 to 64, I came 303rd in that bracket.
That's good.
Okay, and there was over 1,500 runners. And I want to be, in 10 years' time, now I want to be still doing this.
Marathons.
Can I still? Why not? There's no age limit to this. Why not? Why can't I? The key to it, for me, is to stick with my plan. It's longevity. Rest and routine. Get your body and mind in sync, that it knows every time I go out for a run, I do my routine, and my body and mind are in sync before I set off.
So have you got a favourite marathon you've done?
Yeah, good question. I think that Chicago stands out for me. And I think because we had such a long break, the world had been through such a terrible time.
Yeah.
And we'd come out the other side of it and we had our freedom again. And
I think that bit more special,
it was trying. Yeah. There was a how can I say, on the start line there was a different feeling. Although I loved Berlin and I loved New York, but honestly, feel the medal that I'm most proud of has got to be London. I've got the medal to prove it, and it shaped
your running,
and I learned much more that day than from that experience that ever would have coming through and gaining a well done, Ian, you've got a PB. Much more.
Yeah.
It shapes my future.
So Ian, you've done 4 of the majors.
Yep.
What's the next challenge?
YouTube.
Really? Go on.
Yeah, I'd love to have my own YouTube channel. And if I can inspire somebody around my age, not just older runners, but if I can help people around my age with their longevity, that would be great. But hopefully, in time, I can open it up to the whole running community. That would be great.
So, what made you want to start YouTube? Why now?
Yeah, I know. Good question. I think it's just another challenge. I think I sort of proved to myself that in my running career that with the medals that I've got, that I can do that. And I just love watching YouTube. There's some fantastic YouTubers out there, and they bring us great content. Some of the reviews that they give us, they're entertaining, and they do it so well, and I think we owe them a lot, really. And I enjoy watching them all. They are all younger, and a lot of them are really fast runners, and we're not all like that. There's a lot of us around my age that just want to run, and I did wonder if there's enough representation out there for the older generation of runners who want to keep going, and maybe it'll inspire somebody. If I can inspire one person to get out the door, then we've got it. And it's great to meet you, and I'm really going to enjoy the journey with you. We've got a few weeks together now where we're going to be filming half a dozen videos together. Nothing else. These next few weeks we're going to have together are going to be a lot of fun, and it's filling up my headspace, and I'm really enjoying it. James,
a challenge for you and me.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's been a pleasure. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you liked my story. And listen, if you liked it and you want to subscribe to my channel, that would be great to have you along. I'm Ian Lowe, and this is Running High and Low. See you on the next one.